Praise the Lord. Very serious message today. Most of the time when you get ready to watch a TV show or watch a movie, you always want to get a preview of what it's all about. That way you can get a little bit more interested in and excited in seeing the movie. Well, in the book of Revelation and through all of the Bible, it gives us prophecies and previews of what's going to happen. So it's already foretold, and it's already written. It's 100% true. Today, we're going to give you previews. The wrath of God is being revealed from heaven. And in Revelation chapter 6, verse 17, says, "For the great day of his wrath has come, and who shall be able to stand?" Not very many people are going to be able to stand, because most people are living under the wrath of God. Now, God doesn't do bad things to try to get you to obey. You just have a hedge of protection around you, and all the things that are happening in the world, it's going to be some catastrophic things that happen. But you need your protection, so listen to this message and learn that you can be protected from the devastation that's going to happen to this old earth. It's not going to come to an end. There's going to be a lot of things happening, and we're going to explain it piece by piece in this great teaching. God bless you. Praise the Lord.
Amen.
Say with me, Father, I thank you.
Father, I thank you
for letting the words of these pages jump into my life and into my heart, so that I can do the assignment you call for my life. In Jesus' name. Amen. I believe today that the very scriptures that you've heard before will come alive in your life today. It's going to help you understand where we are and where we're walking in this word. We're living in the end times. We've heard that for a long time. We see how corrupt the things are. Right has become wrong, and wrong has become right. We're living so close to an era where Sodom and Gomorrah was, when the time God destroyed it, because all the laws have been reversed. The Christian and people that held God in esteem used to be in the office of our government. They used to be, when the Declaration was founded, it was founded by Christ in the name of God. Now all those laws have changed, because you got a lot of ungodly men that are running the country, that are in Congress and making unjust laws. So I want to share with you and give you a preview of what's fixing to happen in the realm that you're living in. You don't hear a lot of preachers talking about it. They don't preach out of the book of Revelation very often. But all through the scriptures, it's given us an identity of what's going to happen. And people are not even talking about it. I remember a few years ago, Brother Larry, they had some Left Behind series, and that became popular. There's so many things that people don't understand about the Bible and the book of Revelation, because it hadn't been revealed to a lot of people. They stay away from it because it's something that is still being foretold. And God gave me something in my heart that you need to see. And just as everything that you go see, if you go into a movie, they show you a preview so that you can get excited about it. Or if you want to see it, when the sports are on, they'll show you who's playing who. And then you get excited about what's going on, whether it's baseball, football, whatever, NASCAR, the Daytona 500 coming up. They'll show you who's running the race and get you excited about it. The horses, the rodeo, whatever it is that you're doing, they give you a preview of what's happening so that you can be more aware of what's happening. Well, God has given me some previews to make you aware of what's happening.
Thank you.
Okay? We're going to go through this today, and it's going to be a powerful, powerful word. Let's start out. Father, the prayers have been made. Our hearts are open so that we can receive from you right now in Jesus' name. Let's start out with 2 Timothy chapter 3. God has given us previews to let us know that the rest of it's going to happen too. And we're going to see these same things, the same things that we're reading today, is going to come more alive in your spirit today. And you're going to be not afraid, but thankful. Not afraid, but thankful. 2 Timothy chapter 3. Let's go to verse 1. It talks about in the last days, perilous times. We're living in a time where, I got to tell you this. I know you love God or you wouldn't be here. But whatever words you're listening to outside of the church also controls you. That's the way it's designed. Our hearts and spirit are controlled by words. That's why you can receive one phone call and you mess your whole day up. Because if it gets in your mind, you start dwelling on it if it's negative. Then you can receive a phone call that gives you joy and peace. Or you have something to look forward to. We put God last in everything that we do now as a society. And most of us don't say prayers until we lay down and go to bed at night. And then before you fall asleep on him, you might give him 2 minutes before you fall asleep to tell him what you need. Not thanking him for what he's done. 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 1 says, know this also, that in the last days, times of great stress and trouble. You want to know why half of all America is going to have an antidepressant? In the church, just as much as is in the world. They're on something that's going to try to give them some peace of not let them think about what they've been going through. Perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of themselves, lovers of money. I'm reading it from the New King James Version. Lovers of money. They'll be boasters. They'll be proud. They are blasphemers. They are disobedient to parents. They are unthankful. They are unthankful. They are unholy. They are unloving. They are unforgiving. They are slanderers. They are without self-control. They are brutal, despisers of those that are good. They are traitors, heady, haughty. They are lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. Lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. Something they enjoy doing before they put it all before God. Lovers of whatever pleasure that they have, whether it's going to get lottery tickets or going to a basketball game, whatever it is. Lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God. Then it says they go to church having a form of godliness, but denying its power. They go to church, but deny the power. How do you deny the power? Don't act upon what the word says. If you know what the word says and you're still doing wrong, you're denying the power. Because the power of God is strong enough to keep you from being what you used to be. Amen. Because it says the love of God restrains us. So that means the love of God gives us the ability not to be what we used to be. So love, more than having the form of godliness but denying the power of. Then it says, and from such people, go away from them. Don't be around these people. Why? For these are they which creep into houses and make captive of gullible women. The Bible says in some, it says in some versions, that from these turn away, for these are they that creep into houses and take silly women captive, laden with sins and led by divers lusts. It says, loaded down with sins and led away by various lusts. It says, watch this. They are always learning, but never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. They're always learning, but never able to surrender to God. Never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. The knowledge of the truth has to come inside your spirit, but something else is controlling their spirits. Now, or whatever they're listening to. Now, it says in the last days, these days will come. Men's going to be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, ungrateful, unholy, truce breakers, incontinent, fierce, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. It says, from these turn away. Well, these are they that take captive women, laden with sins. So then it says, ever learning but never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Now, all that describes what's happening today in our world today. 2 Timothy says, in the last days, these things are going to go on. And it's given an example of what we're seeing in the world. Now let's go to another scripture that's going to give us what's called the wrath of God. This is not something God is doing. This is a law that he's already put out there. His word has already been laid. Let's do this one first. First of all, did I say Romans already? Let's go to Revelation chapter 6, verse 17. Then we'll go to Romans chapter 1, verse 18. Revelation chapter 6, verse 17 says, for the great day, of his wrath has come, and who shall be able to stand? Who's going to be able to stand during the wrath of God? The great day of his wrath is come. Who is going to be able to stand? Now let's look at Romans chapter 1, verse 18. It's going to talk about how the wrath of God is being revealed from heaven. So now he's telling them, the question I asked you today is, God's given us previews. Who's going to be able to stand? Romans chapter 1. For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against everything that's against God, against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness. The wrath of God is going to be revealed to all of those who are living in sin. Let me go there. Praise the Lord. Really? Where Romans chapter 1? Verse 18. Okay. All ungodliness and righteousness who hold the truth, who suppress the truth in unrighteousness. Verse 19 says, because what may be known of God is manifest in them, for God has showed it unto them. For since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal Godhead and power. Even his eternal power and Godhead, so they are without excuse. What it's saying here is, all the things that God has created, you have to know it was created by God, because they don't have to put batteries in the sun to keep it shining. The trees replenished every spring and fall.
Amen.
You know, it's a cycle that God creates, part of God's creation. The grass that withers grows back once water gets on it. How the earth keeps replenishing itself. It's a cycle that goes through, and you still can breathe without having to pay for it.
My Lord.
Some of us.
Amen.
So you can see that some kind of higher power is in control of all of this. Then it says, because they are without excuse. Watch this. Because, verse 21 says, because although they knew God, they did not glorify him as God. They put God to the side. A job is more important than God. Your children are more important than a job. Your relationship with God is more important than a job. Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Watch this. Because although they knew God, they did not give him glory. They did not glorify him as God. Neither were they thankful. They became futile in their thoughts, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Their foolish hearts were darkened. What it means that the only thing that can come in your spirit is light of God. Once God's not in there, it gets dark. You start doing things you're not supposed to do. You start thinking things that you're not supposed to think. Your mind goes not to where it's supposed to go because it's the darkness that you're listening to or what's going on in your life that goes into your heart.
True. Praise God.
It says, then they glorified God, these were they thankful. They became fruitful in their thoughts, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Professing to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the incorruptible God into an image made like corruptible man, and birds, and four-footed beasts, animals, and creeping things. He says, wherefore they did not glorify him as God. They became fertile in their thoughts and their imaginations. Their foolish hearts were darkened. Professing to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like unto a corruptible man. And the four-footed beasts, they started worshiping animals. They put everything, animals before people. It's not people. I'm not saying that you shouldn't love the creation that God has given, but, people are the most important commodity. Loving one another. He said, hey, watch this. Therefore, they became fertile and corruptible, and it said, and birds and four-footed beasts and animals and creeping things. Verse 24 says, therefore God gave them up to uncleanness. Excuse me. Wherefore God gave them up to uncleanness in the lust of their own hearts, in their hearts, to dishonor their own bodies among themselves. Watch this now. Watch this. You got to hear what the Bible is saying now. I want you to see what it's saying here. Therefore God gave them up to uncleanness in the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies among themselves, who changed the truth of God into a lie, and worship and serve the creature rather than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. They worship and serve mankind and listen to what man says instead of God. Worship and serve the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. For this reason, God gave them up to vile passions. For even their women changed the natural use for what that is against nature. Likewise also the men. Likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of a woman, burnt in lust toward one another. Men with men, committing what is shameful, and receiving themselves the penalty of the error which was due. And even as they did not retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a debased mind. God gave them over to a reputable mind, to do the things that are not fitting, being filled with all unrighteousness, sexual immorality, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, evil-mindedness. They are whisperers, backbiters, haters of God, violent. They are proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, undiscerning, untrustworthy, unloving, unforgiving, unmerciful, who knowing the righteous judgment of God, that they who practice such things are deserving of death. Not only do they do the same, but they approve those who practice them. That's saying a whole lot, y'all. It's saying the same thing that 2 Timothy said about perilous times shall come. Men shall be lovers of their own self, covetous, boasters, proud, mischievous. This is going from the wrath of God. This is who the wrath of God is going to be upon. The unrighteousness of God. This is who, so being that we are the righteousness of God,
Amen.
He's not going to be talking to us.
Thank you,
But it gives us an identity of who's going through this, who's going to be going through this. So I'm going to share some things with you about the previews about what's going to happen in here. It gave you an identity of who's under that covering. So we got to get this thing right. Let's do things by the word of God. Let's do it the way God said it. So he was so tough on the prophets in the old days. If they disobeyed God, man, they were out of there. I mean, there was, as I read in the Old Testament constantly, whenever he gave a prophet, a seer, that's what they called them in those days, seers. Whenever he gave a word and they disobeyed that word, they were out of there. Today, he's letting you make the decision today.
Thank you, Lord.
Because he's giving us what's called grace. And he's giving you a chance because this word is for you. Not to get you fearful, but to get you stirred in the right path.
Yes.
Go back to Revelation chapter 6, verse 17. It says, For the great day of his wrath has come. And who shall be able to stand? I give you an identity of what's going on for the unrighteous. Let me tell you what's going to start happening to them. Let's go to Revelation. First of all, let's go to one more scripture. I want to talk about the man of sin going to be revealed. I'm going to talk about the man of sin going to be revealed. And how he's going to be revealed. I'm talking about the Antichrist and the disciples of the Antichrist. Go to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. There's going to be a big falling away, and we can see that today. Because everything comes before God. Everything comes before God. Fishing on Sundays, everything else, everything comes before God. You know, I passed by some of the dollar stores in some of these small towns coming in on Sundays or something like that. They are full of people, but boy, you go to the church, there's a few cars. Yeah, in some places. And it says, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Start with verse 1. And I'm going to probably read through verse 10. And watch this come alive inside of you and express what it's saying. Now, brethren, concerning the coming of the Lord Jesus Christ, and our gathering together to him, we ask you not to be soon shaken in mind or troubled. Don't let your mind get troubled by this, or troubled. Neither by spirit or by word or by letter, as it is from us, as thought of the day of Christ had come. Don't let it shake you up, okay? What I'm going to talk about. Let no one deceive you by any means. For that day will not come unless the falling away comes first, and the man of sin is revealed, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he sits as God in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. See, that's what pride does. I don't care who you are. If all you're talking is about me, you're replacing yourself with God. See, I'm going to tell you something. Once you say I am, you know who great I am is? Great I am? Anytime you use I am, be careful. Because you don't want to place yourself above the great I am. Watch this now. So it said, do you not remember that when I was still with you, I told you these things? And now, you know that the restraining, that you know what is restraining, that he may be revealed in his own time. This is what he's talking about restraining. Right now, the Holy Spirit is still here. But once the Holy Spirit is, when the rapture of the church takes place, and the Holy Spirit is taken out, that's when the man of sin is going to be revealed. Right now, lawlessness is everywhere. Everything goes. We're in such a time living right now where it doesn't look like it can be turned around. But it's going to take you in the area that you're living in. It's going to turn what you're living in the area that you're living around. Amen. It's not going to happen to the world. It's going to happen to the realm that you live in. Watch this now. And now it says, verse 6 says, and now you know what is restraining, and he may be revealed in his own time. For the mystery of lawlessness is already at work. Only he who now restrains will do so until he is taken out of the way. And when the lawless one will be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the breath of his mouth, and destroy with the brightness of his coming, the coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders, and with all unrighteousness, deception among those who perish, because they did not receive the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this reason, God will send a strong delusion. Let me stop right there. I'll ask for another time. I've got ahead of myself. What it's saying right here in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 1 through 10, it talks about when God is going to end up destroying Satan. That's what the speaking. He wasn't kicked out of heaven by God. Michael the Archangel kicked him out. But anyway, to the point to where the man of sin is being revealed right now. He's being revealed. The unrighteousness, the law. See, God has given you discernment to understand what's right and wrong. I'm going back to Revelation chapter 6, verse 17. For the great day of his wrath has come. And who shall be able to stand? Just a moment ago, I read to you from Romans chapter 1, verse 18. For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against what's happening against God. It's being revealed. Now let's talk about what's fixing to happen in the book of Revelation. Let's go on to Revelation. Let's do it with verse.
Amen.
Let's go to chapter 6, verse 1. And let's go through this. You want to talk about, you ever heard of the apocalyptic horses, the horses arriving? You ever heard of the four horsemen in the book of Revelation? Let's talk about that just for a minute.
Amen. All right.
And bring revelation to this. Chapter 6, verse 1. It's going to bring light to you. Now I saw when the Lamb opened the first seal, one of the seals, and I heard one of the four living creatures saying with a voice like thunder, "Come and see." And I looked, and behold, a white horse. He who sat on it had a bow, and a crown was given. To him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. If you look and see in the world today, it's all about power. Everybody, every nation wants power.
That's true.
The most power or has the most technology, has the most power, are the dominant ones. As far as the United States right now, our economy, China, Russia, Gog and Magog, they're going to be the world powers. We're going to be part with Israel. If we got to stay with Israel so that we'll have that supernatural protection, we'll be part of a union that's aligned with Israel.
Amen.
Now let's talk about the second seal. Verse 3 says, and when he opened the second seal, and I heard the second living creature saying, "Come and see." And another horse, fiery red, went out. And it was granted to the one who sat on it to take peace from the earth, and that people would kill one another. And there was given him a great sword. Talking about war. Right now, if you see everywhere you see, there's no peace.
Yeah.
Peace has been taken out of the earth. But as long as the Holy Spirit is still here, and Christians are still here, and the churches are here, that's the restraining power right now.
Glory.
We still have protection. But once the rapture takes place, it talks about in 2 Thessalonians in just a minute. When the man sees it be revealed and God's church is coming out, you're talking about hell and chaos everywhere. And it looks like it's on its way right now. I mean, it's everywhere. And people don't think that God is going to come back soon. They're living just like when they told us it's going to rain. He told Noah to build a ship where it hadn't rained in 100 years. He I want you to build a ship. It sounded like he was going crazy. Here he is trying to build an ark when it hadn't rained in 100 years. Well, God is giving us instructions, y'all. We're giving previews right now. Because there is no peace. They got artificial peace with things that they're trying to manufacture. The third seal is going to happen. In the third seal, you're going to find products and produce and milk and bread that's going to go sky high. Gasoline prices, sky high. Just a few years ago, I remember even in my day when gas was 50 cents. Yeah. I remember when I got my first car in 1978. I was a junior in high school, and gas was 50 cents a gallon. It went up to 65. They thought we were going crazy. And cigarettes, I didn't smoke anything, but they were fussing about cigarettes being 50 cents. They said if they go to $1, everybody going to stop smoking when it went to $1. And they had $5 to $10 pack. And they stopped smoking it. And verse 5 says, when he opened the third seal, I heard the living creature say, "Come and see." So I looked, and behold, a black horse. And he who sat on it had a pair of scales in his hand. And I heard the voice in the midst of the four living creatures saying, a quart of wheat for a denarius, and 3 quarts of barley for a denarius. And do not harm the oil of the wine. He said, things are going to get outrageously expensive. All the stuff is going to be sky high. If you look and see what's happening right now, even in sports, and they're giving $200 million salaries, and $50 million a year for this. That's crazy. You can't. It's crazy. So all this stuff is just, and there's going to be two, they're going to be ended up being the ones that are protected by God. God's going to always make a way for them. Amen. Remember that. That's why I want you to keep drawing closer to God. Because if you're living in the world, you're going to be under that stress. You're going to be under the wrath, living in the world. The fourth seal, widespread death on earth. You're going to see a lot of this stuff starting to happen, y'all. I'm going to give a couple prophecies before we quit today. And when he opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth living creature say, "Come and see." So I looked, and behold, a pale horse. And the name on him, sat on him, was Death. And Hades followed with him. And power was given to him to kill, over them, to kill a fourth of the earth. To kill with sword, with hunger, with death, and with the beasts of the earth. Listen, the horses are riding. Now, they're riding. And all of the things you see is happening right now. And I'm talking about this horse that's riding called the pale horse. We're seeing that there's war everywhere. There's hunger in lots of places of the earth. The beasts of the earth, and I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. And we want to make sure that the horses are riding. That's just a series. That's just the first wave of the things that are happening. I can't go in detail for every word because I want to give you just a preview of what's happening. Let's move on to some trumpets. Let's go to Revelation chapter 8. The four horses, now let's talk about trumpets. We're going to do a series of a study over the book of Revelation eventually. And it's going to probably take 8 to 10 weeks to do it. We may end up doing it on Wednesday nights. So that you can understand really what's happening in this book. Revelation chapter 8. I'm going to start with verse 7. It says, the first trumpet. All right, now there are going to be 3 series of things that happen. The horses are riding. Now the trumpet's going to be sounding. And then veils are going to be poured out. That's going to be the 3 things I'll cover today. The horses are riding. The bowls being poured. Trumpets being sounded. And the bowls being poured out. So the first trumpet sounds. And hail and fire mingled with blood. And they were thrown to the earth. And a third of all the trees burned up. And all the green grass was burned up. You know, a third of all the trees and the grass is burning. Right now, you see some things going on in Australia and these other places. They can't contain these fires that are going on. That's just giving us previews of what's going to happen. A third of the earth is going to get burned. And something like a great mountain burning with fire was thrown upon the sea. I'm going to say, this is media Duffeyology, that whether it's a volcano or something erupts with lava and all that comes out. It talks about a third of the sea became blood. Uh-oh. And a third of all the living creatures in the sea died. And a third of the ships were destroyed. So something's going to happen in a third of all the waters that's going to mess everything up. So that's a promise. This is a guarantee of God's word. We're destroyed. Now, here's the first trumpet was hail, fire, mixed with blood. The second trumpet was the sound, and the third of the sea became blood. Now here's the third trumpet. Then the third angel sounded, and the great star fell from heaven, burning like a torch. And it fell on a third of the rivers and on the springs of water. And the name of the star is called wormwood. A third of the waters became wormwood, and many men died from the water because it was made bitter. If you look up wormwood, it says that it's bitter water, and it makes you delirious if you drink it. It says it's going to kill a lot of people. A lot of people going to drink the water, it's going to kill them, but it makes you delirious. If you look at when the horses are riding, it says a fourth of the earth will be killed with death, hunger, and wild animals. Animals going to drink that water too. It's going to mess them up too. They'll be attacking people, and they're killing them too, just as well. fourth trumpet sounds. And a third of the sun was struck. A third of the moon and a third of the stars. It's going to become a third of the light is going to go out. A third of the stars. And that a third of them were darkened. A third of the day did not shine. And likewise at night. And I looked, and I heard a flying angel through the midst of heaven saying with a loud voice, 3 woes. Woe, woe, woe unto the inhabitants of the earth, because the remaining blasts of the trumpets of the 3 angels were about to sound. I want to tell you something, guys. These things are happening. It's a guarantee God's word. But we're going to get to the woes now. When I'm talking about woe unto the earth, we're going to talk about some devastating things next. So I'm going to go to the woes. So let's go to chapter 9, verse 1. Let's start with the woes. Then the 5th angel sounded. And this is going to be the first woe. And I saw a star falling from heaven. To him was given a key to the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit. And smoke arose out of the pit, like smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened because of the smoke in the pit. Then out of the smoke, locusts came to the earth. And to them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. They were commanded not to harm the grass of the earth, nor any green thing, nor any tree, but only those men who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads. And they were given authority to kill them. Now, they were given authority not to kill them, but to torment them for 5 months. And the torment was like the torment of a scorpion when it strikes a man. And in those days, men will seek death and cannot find it. They will desire to die, and death will flee from them. He said, you're going to get stung by some of these creatures, and men are going to want to die, and you can't die. For 5 months, nobody's going to die. They're just going to be tormented. That's the first woe. And then, let's look at verse 8. Talks about what the teeth are like and all that. Verse 8 says, and they had hair like women's hair, and the teeth were like a lion's teeth. Okay, I don't know. The 6th, let's go down to verse 13. The 6th trumpet, the angels from the Euphrates. Wow. Wow. This is some stuff that I've been reading about it for years. Then the 6th angel sounded, and I heard a voice. He sounded this trumpet. I should have been blowing this thing every time I heard a trumpet sound. I'm just doing one right now.
Amen.
Well.
Amen.
Then the 6th angel sounded, and he heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar, which is before God, saying, the 6th angel who had the trumpet, release the 4 angels that are bound at the great Euphrates, so that the 4 angels have been prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, and were released to kill a third of mankind. There's going to be war. That a third of the earth is going to get killed. Another third of the earth. You've seen a lot of people die already. Now here's another third of the earth that's going to die. Now, verse 16 says, now the number of the army that's going to kill a third of the earth is 200 million. 200 million, and I heard the number of them that thus saw the horses in the vision. Those who sat upon him had breastplates of fiery red. Now, I used to be in these magazines called the End Times magazines. And in 2001, Mao Zedong, he was China's ruler at the time. He's already passed away, but he was boasting in one of his diaries that he had enough men of eligible age. This was back then, in 2001, 19 years ago. He had enough men to fill an army of 200,886,946 men. And it was growing by 10 million a year. That's how, so this prophecy has already been fulfilled. An army of 200 million, and it's going to be China. Yeah, and they're going to end up marching with Russia for the great river Euphrates. Let me finish about the river Euphrates going to dry up. Let me go ahead and talk about that for a minute. The Euphrates River, that prophecy has been fulfilled already. In 1991, Turkey cut off the flow of the Euphrates River, and they put a dam there so that the river can be shut off at any time. So now the prophecy that talks about this in Revelation chapter 16 and 6, saying the great river Euphrates dried up, at any time they can cut off the dam. So the kings of the east can march across, which will be China and Russia. Gog and Magog. Let me see what I got here. 13 through 16. So the great Euphrates has already been set up for this. There's so much to teach. It is. I need to go through a series with this. Let's talk about the bowls for a minute. The 7 bowls is going to be. This is another series of things that's going to happen to the people of the earth that's going to miss right in the church. Let's go to Revelation chapter 16. I hope you'll be able to look online and go over this again. Because it's a heavy teaching for the church. Let's start with verse 1. Then I heard a loud voice from the temple saying, I'm just getting you prepared so that you can help somebody else get to the Lord. Praise God. Then I heard a loud voice from the temple saying to the 7 angels, go and pour out bowls, and the wrath of God on the earth. Remember Revelation chapter 6 verse 17, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Right here it says, go and pour out the bowls of the wrath of God on the earth. The ones that are under that title is going to be the ones that are going to be left. It talks about the wrath of God being revealed from heaven against ungodliness. Okay, now we're showing you part of the wrath of God with this stuff that's going on. The first bowl, loathsome swords. When the first bowl is poured out upon the earth, a foul and lonesome sore came upon men who had the mark of the beast, of those who worship the image. Okay, let me talk about the mark of the beast just for a minute. What's happening now is they're putting a chip, and the only place this chip will work is in the right palm, and it's going to be on the forehead. This chip, back in 1996, it was called Mundex. Mundex and Prince Charles and his bank started out with a chip to put it in. And he and his 2 sons accepted the chip back in those days. I remember Princess Diana wouldn't accept the chip, and she died the same year. Neither here nor there right now, but in 2017 they had predicted that all of Europe would have the chip. And then it's come to the United States now. They're trying to willfully let people accept it. Here's what's happening. Theft identity is what's driving this thing bad. Because they're stealing credit cards, they're stealing identities, so that they can put that chip inside of you, and they can tell you where you are, where you're going. They tried to put it in the driver's license for a little while, but it hadn't worked out to put them in the driver's license because of theft identity. But they're going to end up trying to put it in people's hands. That's going to be your target to swipe when you go into banks, when you go in to get indoors. All of that's going to tell you your whole medical records, everything is going to be in that chip. We're going to talk about that just for a minute, about not accepting it, because we're from God. You can't accept it. It says, the second, okay. I was talking about Mundex and that chip. If you look and see right now, they're driving the chip. Years ago, they started with a common test. Horses got common test. They can put an identity. If your horse got stolen, you can find it, easily, more easily. That's a tracker. Right now, you're being tracked anyway. As long as you got one of these, you're being tracked anyway. Okay? So don't, really. And they can hear too. I'm gonna leave all that stuff alone right now. Verse 3 says, and then the second angel poured out his bowl on the sea, and it became blood as blood of a dead man. And every living creature in the sea died. I got some friends that are morticians, and if the sea became as blood of a dead man, I asked him, I said, well, what's the blood of a dead man like? He said, it's just like jelly. It's the consistency of jelly. So the sea is going to be just like jelly, the blood of a dead man. Then the angel poured out his bowl. Okay, I read that. The third bowl. And the waters turned to blood. You see that when the horses were riding and the trumpets were sounding, some of it turned to blood then. When the star falls to the earth and it became as blood. Well, again, here's another third bowl. Waters turned to blood. Then the third angel poured out his bowl, and the rivers and springs of water, and they became blood. And I heard the angel say to the water, you are righteous, O Lord, and one who is true, was and who is and to be, because you judge these things. So now, if you look and see back at Moses and all that water turned to blood, again, here it is, turned to blood again. If you go down to verse 8 in chapter 16, the fourth bowl poured out. This has got something to do with our ozone layer. Then the fourth angel poured out his bowl on the sun, and the power was given to him to scorch men with fire, and men were scorched with a great heat. And they blasphemed the name of God, who had power over these plagues, and did not repent to give him glory. He said, the sun is going to get so hot that it's going to scorch men. You can see right now, man, it's getting hotter and hotter. The concrete now, you can cook an egg on top of a black car. If you just have the sun on it, it's getting hotter and hotter. You can see that the ozone layer is breaking. So these things are coming to pass. God has given us previews in this word. The fifth bowl, darkness and pain. The fifth angel poured out his bowl on the throne of the beast, and the kingdom became full of darkness, and they gnawed their tongues because of the pain. And they blasphemed the God of heaven because of their pains and sores, and did not repent of their deeds. Wow. The people are going to be so angry, they're not going to ask God for forgiveness. Then the sixth angel poured out his bowl, and the great river Euphrates, and its water dried up. I talked about that just a minute ago. When Turkey cut off the flow of the Euphrates River, this prophecy has been fulfilled. The sixth bowl poured out, and the river Euphrates dried up. The sixth angel poured out the great river Euphrates, and its water dried up, so that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. Talking about China, which is the kings of the east. China and Russia, the army with 200 million. That's what's happening right there. Okay? Now the seventh bowl. I'm going down to verse 17. Then the seventh angel poured out his bowl into the air, and a loud voice came out of the temple of heaven from the throne saying, it is done. And there were noises and thunders and lightnings, and there was such a great earthquake, so mighty the earthquake that it occurred, that it had been an earthquake occurred since the time of man. That it says now, verse 19 says, now the great city was divided into 3 parts, and the cities and nations fell, and great Babylon was remembered before God to give her the cup of wine and the fierceness of his wrath. Then every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. And great hail fell upon the men, and a great hail from heaven fell upon men, each hailstone weighing about a talent. And men blasphemed God because of the plagues of the hail, since the plague was exceedingly great. Let me get ready to close this for a minute. Hail will come down from the sky weighing a talent. Those previews are happening today. And I guess guess it's been a couple of years ago I saw this. God gave us a preview of one of those. There was a hailstone that fell through a roof in Florida. It came all the way through the roof and hit the floor. I don't know how big it was, but it was so heavy that it came through the roof. And I started making, I said, Lord, show me. And he showed me in his word that he gave us a preview then. See, they didn't know here's what they're saying. It may have came, this is what people were saying that didn't understand where it came from, because they still don't know. They said, here at Colorblind Ministries, we want to be in prayer for you continually. That you be, he says, I pray that you prosper and be in good health. So why don't you partner with us at P.O. Box 166, Sulphur Springs, Texas, 75482. We want to be a blessing to you. So partner with us.